our security guard. That's a tough thing. You're Fulbright talent already.
Yeah, it's an SBA.
Okay.
Yeah. And the career development officer, I've been there a few times, not really as strong as this information session has been. So is there someone that I can contact here directly if I wanted to speak to them, or through the IIE program? Do you have like any specific person, point of contact?
Yeah, if you do not, if your school does not have a Fulbright program advisor, then you will have to apply independent as an independent student, because we can't take you from PACE, okay? Then you would go to the IIE, which is a big office building across from the UN on First Avenue. And their information is through this website. They have meetings and various panels and so on to talk to you. Yeah.
In terms of letters of recommendation, I understand that you need 3. Is it possible to use somebody who's not a professor?
If they can talk to your academic qualifications, not, again, work, but academically, yes. And it doesn't have to be a PACE professor either. You know, people know professors at other schools, so on. Generally speaking, high school teachers are not going to give you help. Though.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
Can your affiliation, in terms of your affiliation in the host country, can that be a U.S.-based, like say, NGO or nonprofit that you would be working kind of simultaneously with in
yes.
host country? Okay.
The answer is NGO, government agencies, you know, Red Cross, whatever. Those sort of things can be an affiliation. So you need to get that. Those are harder logistically to get than university affiliations historically, because you're dealing with all sorts of bureaucracies, whereas university, you can just find one professor in your field, say, sure, bring them on, and you can get the letter.
Is there one that is maybe weighted differently in the evaluation process? Like, does IIE look at university affiliation and say, oh, that's stronger, or does that not affect anything?
It really depends on the nature of your work.
Okay.
It has to make sense. It has to make sense, the nature of your work. So I actually do think that they tend to lean towards preferring institutions of higher education, but if we've had a couple people who've won where they were even actually, wasn't the Nepal one a bank?
Yeah, I think so.
Because he was doing micro-lending research. So
the Israeli also did a finance ministry in Israel. So you can go with other items that are just somewhat harder to get. Some countries have recommended universities listed. Again, read the description, know the description. If they say, we put our people with this university in whatever city it is, go to them first.
There was something like that?
Yeah.
Isn't it at all possible to do a collaborative research grant?
Explain what you mean by that.
One country. You're not allowed to go into more than one country.
As in 2 people applying to do a grant research proposal together?
No, never done.
Nice thought, but not possible.
Are grants typically given to people who are applying to go to a foreign country and stay in one particular city, or is it feasible to propose to go to multiple cities throughout a country?
Yes, you can propose multiple cities, but again, this is where that research proposal plan must be pretty specific. I'm going to spend, August and September here and October, November there, and this is what I'm going to do there. They want to know that you have a good, solid agenda to do that.
Would you then need different, affiliations in the different municipalities you would propose to go to?
You can have more than one affiliation, but it's not required.
Okay.
Yes?
If the language requirement is a year, does it have to be by the time you apply or by the time you go?
You must.
A year?
I think Morocco is like a year of studying Arabic or something.
Some countries are specific in wanting to see coursework work on your transcript. Again, but everyone who's going to a country with a language requirement, and some that are not, as was pointed out, wants to see a language evaluation. You will have to find a person. If it is taught at this school, you can use a PACE professor to fill in the language evaluation form. If it is not, if it's a language not taught at this school, you can search for outside the school. We've had ministers and other people do the evaluation. So long as they have some title that indicates their knowledge of the language.
But if by the
time of the application.
But if you're talking about acquiring the language so that you can actually conduct your research in the year between when you applied and when you actually are awarded the grant, you will not be awarded the grant until you submit the language evaluation, as well as actually your health certificate and all of this. I mean, you get selected, but you don't actually really get the award till you prove that everything you said is indeed true. Like you earned your degree like you're planning to. Because you're applying now, you still have another year. Something bizarre could happen.
Just as a matter of strategy, get as much language in the bank before October 20th.
Yes.
Okay?
Absolutely.
Because I don't know that you may find this hard to believe. Students sometimes do not tell the truth about their intentions. They may say they're going to do things, and sometimes they don't get done. They will really only believe what you can produce on October 20th. Yes.
What about studying the language while they're in the host country?
Not if it's required to be there. Does that make sense?
I just can't see studying, let's say, Arabic at pace for 2 semesters will make me a native speaker.
You want to explore the Critical Language Enhancement Award, which will put you into an intense program before you start the in-country. Sometimes it's in the same country, sometimes it's not. But they do want to get you up to speed. But you should take as much as PACE can give you before you get there, yes.
What if you're graduating this year?
You're graduating this year, you can apply through us next year. Your window continues for at least 1, often 2 years. We've taken people 2 years out who graduated, but not, I don't think 3 is likely.
Yeah. So, you can apply in the fall, even if you're working or doing whatever.
Yeah,
as a graduate.
Yeah, because I graduated in spring, but I just got the letter about this meeting.
Yeah, you're still good.
But we could take like a language course at community college or something if necessary.
Yes, definitely. Do it.
Yes.
So if I graduate in December of 2011, I would apply in the fall of 2012?
No.
11.
Well, you could apply in the fall of 2011. You'd go in the fall of 2012. You're applying 1 full year before, or 11 months, before you would actually take up residence in the host country. Okay. So this fall's application is for the academic year 2011-12. If you're graduating in the fall, December of 2011, you should apply in the fall. You would go in the following fall. What other questions?
That means you have lots of time to think about what you're going to do.
Or travel, yes.
Is there a limit on, I graduated 4 years ago. Would it be not a good idea to apply for the student grant, or is there?
Are you a grad student now?
No.
Okay. It's a little bit long.
Yeah.
We will advise you.
Are you a professor or? Or an administrator. There's a separate Fulbright program for administrators and faculty. We can talk about that.
Okay.
But if you are that far out, I understand, groovy. If you are that long distant graduated, you should apply as an independent student. But if I can help you, I will. Okay, I'll give you advice. We just can't sign off. We can't do the on-campus interview process, for instance. And by the way, that on-campus interview, you are not competing against other PACE students. You are only competing against other people in the entire country who are applying for that country. Okay? So if we have 5 people applying for Spain, that doesn't mean only 1 person will be our top candidate. All 5 could get top recommendations from PACE, and then the Spanish country committee would decide among them. So you're not competing against other PACE students, you're just competing against the rest of the world, no problem.